Yeah, we're getting close to the magic number anyway. Now, okay, so I'm in private, but I need to get back to comments, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the comments. So I don't, if you see the comments there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, you see the comments show up on your screen there?
It said starting soon.
Yeah. And we can put this on the, it's kind of cool. We can put them up on the screen, right? So if somebody makes a comment, we can put their comments on the screen.
Okay, let me see how you do that.
So I don't know if you see it at your end, but here, see that?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, it's right at the bottom. That's great.
Yeah, and then this was the original one. Starts out. I just when I put it up, I just.
Oh, okay. I just didn't realize that was in the comments. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it looks like it's part of the regular screen anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool. So if anybody comes in, we can just put a comment up on the screen, and if somebody says something really good, so we need to pay somebody to say something really good.
Yeah. Next time we'll do that.
That's what Bonnie and I, when we're doing stuff, the other person will be putting in links and putting in comments and stuff.
Well, they really can't speak unless we give them permission to, right?
No. Okay. So what happens is, if I'll show you, let's see here.
I mean, that's good if it is, because then we can put the comment up there.
Yeah.
And not bring them in unless we really want to have them speak.
Yeah. So if we wanted somebody, let's say you had somebody who showed up and you wanted them to be on there. See in the private chat? It's the same link that you use to get on. We can just send it to them as a text message or an email, and then they would jump on and they would just show up off screen in the waiting room, and then we can add them. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. So that's if we're going to have another speaker or something.
Yeah, if we have another speaker, or if we end up wanting to have more of a discussion, like if 2 or 3 people want to have more of a discussion at some point during the question and answer. So that's a way as we can, let's say there were we had 4 people that stayed for the question and answer. We can just post that in the chat, and they can log on, and then they can become part of the Hollywood Squares.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Okay. Yeah, I tried to get the free version, and I can't remember what the issue was, but sometime when you and I are doing a one-on-one or something, I'll try to log on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fun. So you see that I put your logo here on the background.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and mine's underneath there.
Yeah, we are set up. This is good.
Yeah.
Now, if we can just get some people to show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got one. We have an audience member. So I guess I'm going to turn the music off here.
Now, how do we know we got an audience member?
Can you see?
There he is. There's Dwight. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So he got my email.
Okay.
So if I want to say hello, Dwight, I can do it in the chat, right?
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah. So you can in the chat.
Or can he hear us? Can he hear us right now?
Well, he can hear us now, but you can say.
Oh,
there we go.
Okay.
So here's what he said. Good to see. Hi, Roy. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Greg. I mean, good to see you, Dwight. We got a bounce on your email, so that's why I sent you the link again. So it was probably just the internet going crazy.
Yeah. So I guess we should get going here.
Okay, well, we'll see if we get, at least one more person.
Yeah, one more person. Okay, so my name is Greg Dixon, the Kartra Whisperer, and then I'm here with Roy Dickan for Niche Domination. And together we've put together a program and a presentation called Total Traffic and Conversion. And so we're going to start here. Roy's got a little presentation. He's going to talk about what he does. And then after that, I'm going to talk about what I do and why the two of them work together. So do you want me to put your presentation up on the screen here?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay. Well, this presentation got put together now because it was developed over a little over 10 years. And it couldn't begin to be developed until Google came up with now what it's calling Google My Business. Because previous to that, I was just having leads coming to companies through their website. And while that was effective, when Google asked me to have my clients try what is now Google My Business, for one of them, it actually tripled the amount of leads coming in each month. For another one, it close to doubled it. So it was definitely a major improvement. But until they actually came out with that, it was the website that was bringing all the leads. What a dramatic difference once Google came up with its, I think it was called Google Places initially. So over time, this got perfected by trial and error, and various different companies were using it. So we got to find out what worked and what didn't work, because we wanted to keep improving it and just bringing in more clients each month. So with this particular system, the way it finally all worked out is there are 4 basic components to it. For one thing, you absolutely need to have a Google My Business listing. And for anybody that doesn't have one of those, I can explain it, but it's real simple. It's free, and you just sign up for it. You go to google.com/business and you can set it up. You have to have a website, but the website can be your company website. If it's your company website, then we're a little restricted on the amount of keywords that are going to make this thing work. But a company website is worth so much because it generally has a higher ranking in Google's eyes than our websites, that it really doesn't matter. It's just a little different way to do it. And then what really brings people visiting your website or your Google My Business listing, which eventually leads to the website, are keywords that you want to be found for that are actually indicating that somebody's looking for what you've got and they want to buy it. And where we house those keywords is in the content that is on both the Google My Business listing or the GMB listing or the website. So we're going to get into that so you can see how to do it, because what you can learn tonight is really all you need to start getting traffic. So the 4 components work like this, and we start with local firepower up here on the upper left. The Google My Business listing, or the GMB, starts as local firepower. You have to be found locally for your business before Google starts expanding the search capability. So this is where it all begins. This was all discovered by trial and error. And believe me, you don't want to do this for 10 years. You'd rather hear about it in 10 minutes than 10 years. So local firepower is how it begins. Your Google My Business listing finds people that are located near you. So Dwight, if you're in Durham, you're going to be found first by people that are near you in Durham. The next part to the right that's very important is your website. And I call this the niche foundation, because this is really where it all comes together. If you don't have a website of your own or a company website, yeah, you'll get some results, but they're really going to be not a whole lot better than just what we're getting off the networking groups and referrals. It's only going to be at that level. But if you put the two of them together and you integrate the two of them, then that is by far the most searches that you're going to get. Now, it may take a little while, depending on if you got a brand new Google My Business listing or a brand new website. It may take a little longer, but once it starts working, it only expands from there. And you don't have to do near the amount of work that you have to do if you're trying to get found on LinkedIn or Facebook, where you have to post every day, and maybe even on Facebook several times a day. It's just an unbelievable amount of work for the amount of leads that you get that way. You don't have to do that kind of amount, but you should. And we'll get into how you do this, but you really need to post on your Google My Business listing once a week. If you don't do that, it really doesn't work well. You can get by with once a month. You don't want to do any less than that. And we'll talk about it, but once you start posting once a month, you want to keep posting once a month, because Google's looking for consistency. So if you post once a week, you got to keep posting once a week. So you might want to start once a month and then maybe change it to twice a month. But you never want to go backwards. You don't want to post every other week and then all of a sudden you haven't posted for a month or two. Google will not reward you well for that. So the next thing that's important is the lower right here, prospect queries. Keywords are going to be in your prospect queries. Now, a prospect, when they're doing a search, they may type it in on a PC or a Mac, or they may speak it, or they may type it in on a phone or mobile device, or they may speak it. Actually, a lot more people are speaking it these days, and your mobile device is where most of your searches are coming from now. So Google is really concerned that your website is showing up appropriately on a mobile device, and we can get into that. But basically, your prospect query is going to contain the keywords that are going to find you when people are looking to buy what you're offering, or looking to join you, or whatever method of close you're attempting, because this is all up to you. You set this up to work the way you want it to work, and the leads come to you in the way you want them to. But most often, you're going to put these keywords into content, and they're going to come to you with these prospect queries because you have the content on your website and on your Google My Business listing that contain these keywords. And that's basically all you have to do. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it appears nobody but me has figured it out. So unless I've told you, you probably don't know that that's how it works. Now, when somebody puts in a keyword in a search like chiropractor, now if they're looking for a chiropractor in Raleigh and they're not in Raleigh, then they're going to have to put Raleigh, North Carolina, which would be typical. But if they're in Raleigh, they just have to put chiropractor, and Google assumes the Raleigh, North Carolina part, and they bring up a page, or they bring up a series of text and images that are on the phone. And in this case, the top of the page or the beginning of what you see on the phone are some ads, because chiropractors really have to be found online, or they just don't have people coming through their doors. So a lot of them advertise. You won't find this with a lot of niches, and it may not be the case with your niche. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, this is what's critical to get on as soon as you can. This is a map that's got 3 Google My Business listings on it, and in this case, an ad again. That's not all that common, but for certain niches, it is. And chiropractor niche, it can happen. So these 3 chiropractors in this case will actually get 2/3 of the clicks that happen for the whole page. And that includes all the rest of the organic listings that are there when you scroll down. So to be in the Google 3-pack, this is called, it is really what you want. And what gets you there is the keyword that you want to be found for in the search. So if you click on one of the Google My Business listings, this is what comes up. This is an opportunity, if you've set it up right, to then click through to your website. If you want people to find you, and a chiropractor would, you can put directions on here. You can put an address on here, but you don't have to. You're probably going to want to put your phone number on here, and it can be a clickable phone number, which is excellent for mobile. And you can put some other things on here. Now, what they did was very effective. Is there's an opportunity for people to ask you questions, and then you answer them. But what they've done is they've actually posted questions and answers on things that they wish people would ask them about. So they actually were able to take advantage of the first part of their Google My Business listing and answer questions already by anybody that goes right to their Google My Business listing. You can post on your GMB listing, and in this case, people did. And your post should contain at least 1 image, but they actually put 4 images on a post. That can be good. People love images on your Google My Business listing, so it's effective. Also, they've got what the Joint Chiropractic is all about. So they've got some information about the company. This is the way your Google My Business listing can look. The post would be right below the information about your company. Now, here's another one that was on that map, and they really don't have much going for them. They've got an address, but they don't have a phone number. They don't have any posts, and they don't have any business information. So they're really, and no questions and answers. So they're really not taking advantage of this at all. They could be putting information in what's called the info section, which you saw on the last post, the information about the Joint Chiropractic. They could be doing posts like Joint Chiropractic did. You want to put on photos, and you really want to do them with a mobile device, because that has a latitude and longitude stamped into it. And Google respects the fact if the pictures are in the area that you want to do business. So if you're doing business across the whole country, any part of the country will work for you. You can list all the services that you offer, and you can list all the products that you offer. And there are ways to even make your services products so they stand out a little bit better. And I mentioned the clicking through to the website, which Wakefield does not do, and questions, which they don't do either. So the four main components again: your Google My Business listing, your website, the keywords that actually bring up the searches, they're in the search phrases, and the content, which is on both your website and your Google My Business listing. So that's we would normally go into Q&A on this, but I don't want to do that. The reason that Greg and I teamed up together is to really make this a much more powerful thing. This works like a charm. It'll bring you leads continually. Now, if it brings you enough leads, you're going to have a hard time closing all those leads, and that would be a good thing, especially if you figure out how to do it. So Greg has a method whereby you automate the closing of a lot of these things, and you do a whole lot more. And he is going to tell you about that and how that can work together with my part, the niche domination. Greg, take it over.
Okay, fabulous. So my part of this is I use a platform called Kartra, which is an all-in-one business program, and it does landing pages, sales processes, email mailing lists, sequences, video, and all kinds of things. So the way this works together is Roy, with his niche domination, gets traffic to a website, and then once it's in the website, then we try to capture them. That's so the conversion is either we capture them as we get them to join a mailing list, or they buy something, or they subscribe to a membership. So I'm going to show you a couple of samples here. So here's so this is, well, maybe we'll just do it full screen here. So there is one of my favorite clients. They are Node Investor University based in San Diego, and what they do is they teach people how to buy and sell mortgage notes, and they also buy and sell mortgage notes themselves. And this landing page here, there's an introduction, a video here introducing it, and then they have a couple of things to you can sign up to access a free course, and they have also a sort of a network here with Mighty Networks. And on this page, they have a number of videos, which were really quite informative, pretty interesting things. And so this is maybe a little busier than the average landing page, but it works pretty well for them. And they do a number of things, including here are the kind of things that I do with them. Here's they had this last week. What they did is they offered Patrick offered a 3-hour masterclass on marketing for dollars, and we put this up on a Monday. I helped put in the registration form and the payment form, and they started getting people signing up that evening, and they had people register for the class. And then Kartra also sent out notices at the last minute, preparation notices with links to the class. And our next step is going to be to take this and put it into a membership area where they'll continue to charge for it, but they won't do it again. So it's kind of a one and done thing. And it will end up in their university portal. So here they've got a growing collection of classes. There's a free class that anybody can sign up for at the beginning. And then they have note investing fundamentals and archive of the sessions. And each sort of specialty note classes, like note partials, deep dive, masterclass. And this one, the marketing one will show up soon. So I'm just going to load up this portal here to show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is a Kartra membership. It's asking for a cookie, and so theirs is heavily video oriented. So there'd be an introduction. There could be all sorts of things in here, including quizzes and exams, surveys, all sorts of things. So Kartra does a pretty good job with this kind of thing. And then we have, of course, our little landing page that some of you have used to log on to get onto here, log on to the session, register to receive links. And then we also have information about the program that we're doing together, and also a done with you program. So I'm going to go back here, back to StreamYard, and we'll stop sharing here. And maybe does anybody have any questions for Roy or myself about what it is we're doing here? And oh, there we go. Dwight Dwight says, I like high quality problems, right? So that's, I think that's going back to what you said, Roy, is if your niche domination works really well, they're going to be inundated with clients. So it's a really good thing to have. So do you have any questions? Anybody have any specific questions?
Well, if not, I just wanted to point out that I'm offering a class and I'm actually hosting it on Kartra. So, and a lot of people do this. This is one place that you can actually have your courses hosted. So, Dwight, if you decide to do a class, for example, and you had Kartra, this would be a place that is, in my opinion, a very economical way to offer your classes for sale or for free.
Yeah.
Or some might be free and some might be for sale, depending how deep you wanted to go with them. So I think Kartra is something definitely worth looking at.
And both Roy and I have Kartra accounts, and we can host websites and memberships for other people. So you don't necessarily even need your own Kartra account. In many ways, that's better in the long run, but it's not absolutely necessary. Okay, so what's the question here?
If my website has a place where people can schedule an appointment with me, then Roy's system will work for that. Yes. Any way that you want to be contacted. In this case, if scheduling an appointment is the way you want to get to talk to somebody in order to consider closing them for your team, then yes, that's exactly what you want to do. You would send them to scheduling an appointment. That's exactly the way you could decide to close your business or to begin to close your business, rather than having a phone call or filling out a form or something like that, sending an email or whatever. A lot of people nowadays are doing it that way. And yes, it absolutely can work that way.
Yeah. So can you do that straight from Google My Business? Just put a link into the appointment, like Calendly or Kartra?
right off the front page of your Google My Business listing. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's fabulous. Okay.
These listings, you can do so much with them. Most people don't realize that you can. But they're only part of the answer. So, Dwight, do you have? Your website is your company website. Is that correct? I think it is.
Yeah.
At any rate, yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. So the way
he says yes. Yeah.
The way you work this is you want the words that you can be found for that appear already on your company website. Now, you might have a page where you can add additional information. And if so, that gives you another avenue of approach, and we can get into that if you've got specific questions about that. But you're going to want to make maximum use of your company website and duplicate a lot of that information on your Google My Business listing, and then send people to an appointment with you. And I'm going to try to read. Oh, it's compliant. I have to make sure. Yes, that's another reason why it's really good to do everything with your company website. And a lot of people that are using this system handle financial services like you do, and it works just fine. Your website has to be compliant. There are certain things you can do with your Google My Business listing, and you only do those. It's only necessary to do what is compliant to do. There's no reason to go over and above, because very few people are using this effectively. And therefore, the fact that you're using it effectively and you're using it in a compliant fashion is all you need to worry about.
Well,
any other questions by anybody?
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm sure, Dwight, we're going to see each other quite often. So we can pick it up from there. But I really appreciate your being here, and whoever else that might not have put in a chat but is here. I sincerely appreciate your coming. Now, when you go to try this stuff and you have some questions, one easy way to get those things answered is to be here next Wednesday night. And we'll talk about them specifically.
Yeah, be here next Wednesday night for sure. Yeah, bring your questions. Absolutely. Bring all your questions and concerns, and if you have some real world examples, something very specific that you want to talk about, we can do that.
I'm sure whatever anybody asks is going to be beneficial to almost anybody else on the call. So we would love to have this be a good Q&A session, in addition to, us explaining a few things. Once you know these things and you've tried them, then you won't need to necessarily know them. Someone else joining for the first time may. Yeah. But at any rate, we can get into whatever questions you've got. Take maximum advantage of this. We're going to be here every Wednesday. So we would love to help you make money with this particular system. And if it's something you don't want to get down and dirty with the computer and with the Google My Business listing and with Kartra and all that kind of thing, whatever services you want to outsource, Greg and I can handle. So there's no reason not to do this.
No reason not to do it.
There's absolutely no reason not to do this.
Yeah. So that's
great. You can find out the things that you want to do and what you don't want to do is just try them.
Just try them. Yeah. Perfect. So if you haven't registered already, go to totaltrafficandconversion.com and sign up to get on the list with notices, and we hope to see you soon. So any final words?
If no one has any more.
We might have another comment.
We might have another.
Here we go. This is what we want to see. I'm looking forward to implement this. There we go.
I'm looking forward to you doing it too, Dwight.
Yeah.
I think it'll be valuable for you. And, so besides when we get together any other time, you've got this for your Q&A. And besides, Greg is here to help with things too. So it makes it, I think, doubly imperative to be here whenever you need to.
Okay.
And get anything answered that you might have a question for. We've got a lot of experience with this, so we can tell you what other people have done.
Yeah.
So this isn't just, something dreamed up out of a book or whatever. This is real world stuff here. And we can tell you what other people have been able to, maybe things they've done wrong to keep you from having to repeat errors that there's no reason to repeat.
Okay.
So thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Roy and Greg will be here next Wednesday night.
Yeah. See you next Wednesday. Bye.